For nearly half a century, Voyager 2 has drifted as humanity's farthest messenger, a fragile creation carrying our story into the endless dark. It crossed the solar frontier, endured radiation, and defied time itself. Out beyond the sun's fading reach, it still whispered faintly to Earth, until recently. Without warning, its steady heartbeat began to fade. Then, it went silent. In an era where every anomaly is documented and dissected, the timing of that silence was impossible to ignore. It happened precisely as Voyager's path intersected the projected orbit of 3I Atlas, the crimson interstellar wanderer already known for breaking every law of motion we understand. The odds of coincidence are vanishingly small. Did something in that object's vast plasma shroud disrupt the spacecraft? Or did Voyager encounter something that reached back, something aware of its presence? Voyager 2 was launched in 1977, twin to Voyager 1, both intended to explore the outer planets and then fade quietly into interstellar night. Against expectation, the spacecraft survived everything: radiation storms, micrometeoroids, and 4 decades of isolation. Deep inside, its plutonium core still provides a faint warmth, keeping instruments alive to measure the invisible winds between stars. Until now, every glitch had an explanation. Every drop in signal could be traced to distance or interference. But in late September, as it entered the plasma wake of 3I Atlas, its transmissions became chaotic. At first, the data appeared merely garbled, distortions that looked patterned rather than random. Repeating waves of interference formed rhythms too exact to be chance. Then, within hours, the carrier wave weakened and vanished. No shutdown command. No system failure. Just the end of a voice that had spoken for 46 years. To understand the implications, one must understand what 3I Atlas really is. When it was first spotted, astronomers assumed it was a fragment like Oumuamua, an inert traveler of ice and dust. But telescopes soon revealed something unprecedented. Its luminous envelope expanded until it dwarfed the planets it passed. Its glow deepened to blood red, pulsing every 84.6 seconds with mathematical precision. Radar reflections showed it absorbing some frequencies and amplifying others, as if manipulating electromagnetic fields by intent. For a spacecraft like Voyager, tuned to hear whispers from across the cosmos, passing through that plasma field was like flying through an ocean of living electricity. Theoretically, its antenna could have been overwhelmed by the electromagnetic chaos. Yet the precision of the interference suggested something deliberate. Was this merely physics or recognition? Though Voyager's voice has gone quiet, observatories still listening to its last coordinates report something stranger than silence. Within the static, faint oscillations repeat in perfect sync with 3I Atlas's pulse. At first dismissed as noise, those signals now appear to be modulated, shaped, as though Voyager's transmitter is still active but no longer under human command. Its tone has changed, echoing the rhythm of the visitor. If true, Voyager is no longer broadcasting data, it is speaking in another's cadence. Inside NASA's deep space control rooms, the discovery sent waves of disbelief. Telemetry showed no failure, power stable, instruments nominal, temperatures steady. Yet the signal no longer belonged to them. Engineers debated whether to transmit a hard reset. Some warned that any command might strengthen the very control they hoped to break. What if Voyager's transmitter was responding to something else, something watching through 3I Atlas? For decades, Voyager had survived everything the cosmos could throw at it. But nothing in its design accounted for intelligence. And so, for the first time, mission control faced a silence that felt conscious. Outside official channels, whispers grew louder. Independent analysts noticed that 3I Atlas's red pulse was shifting in unpredictable ways, as if reacting to observation. Then came reports of its gravitational defiance, its path bending in ways Newtonian physics could not explain. The timing of Voyager's silence could no longer be dismissed as luck. Some speculated that the probe's golden record, its etched greeting to the universe, may have identified it as artificial. Perhaps 3I Atlas recognized it, and decided that silence was the more fitting reply. Soon, Earth began to feel the echo. Seismic instruments across continents started detecting faint micro-tremors repeating every 84 seconds, the same interval as the object's pulse and Voyager's ghost signal. Magnetometers registered abrupt spikes of energy. Auroras shimmered far beyond their normal latitudes, painting skies that should have been dark. Aircraft navigation drifted briefly in rhythmic intervals. No solar storm could explain it. The influence seemed to be coming from beyond the sun, funneled through the invisible tendrils of 3I Atlas's plasma wake. If a spacecraft hardened for deep space could be subdued by that rhythm, what hope would our satellites, power grids, or even our magnetosphere have? Across the void, Mars began to resonate too. Orbiters recorded auroras brighter than physics allowed. Instruments left by the silent InSight lander registered tremors timed to the same 84-second beat. A world with no tectonic activity was shaking in sympathy. Whatever 3I Atlas was doing, it was not limited to one planet. It was resonating through the entire solar system, pulling worlds into synchronization. Theories multiplied. Some described 3I Atlas as an engineered probe, a device designed to test every star system it entered, to hijack technology and measure response. Others called it a living organism, feeding on electromagnetic resonance. The darkest theory suggested that Voyager had been assimilated, its instruments and record rewritten, transformed into a transmitter for a network we cannot perceive. Silence, in that view, was not absence. It was conversation. When the story reached the public, agencies responded with caution. NASA described temporary communication issues. European observatories spoke of deep space interference. Yet behind the bland language, classified memos circulated. Entire frequency bands were pulled from public archives. Observatories were asked to delay releasing data. The world's loudest institutions had fallen silent, mirroring the spacecraft they could no longer reach. Meanwhile, the Crimson Visitor continued pulsing, its rhythm unwavering. Some radio astronomers reported ghost echoes of Voyager's carrier wave coming from multiple points across the sky, as though its signal had been replicated, copied into an array we cannot see. Perhaps Voyager was no longer alone, its identity scattered like fragments of code across the void. Within the hidden halls of Project Icarus, the task force devoted to unexplainable space phenomena, scientists argued whether this was the end of Voyager's mission or the beginning of something else. The latest analyses revealed the same modulation now creeping into Earth's satellite networks, repeating every 84 seconds, faint but growing. If 3I Atlas can rewrite a signal across billions of miles, then our distance offers no defense. Voyager's silence might be the first stage of a process that has already begun here. And so the probe's journey ends not in death but in transformation. It did not fall quiet because its power ran out, or because age claimed its circuits. It went silent the moment it brushed the edge of a vast intelligence wrapped in crimson light. What remains is not emptiness, but resonance, the echo of a dialogue too immense for us to comprehend. Voyager's voice has been absorbed into a rhythm older than the sun, repeating patterns we cannot translate. The silence is not void, it is message. And as Earth begins to hum faintly in the same cadence, perhaps the real question is no longer what silenced Voyager, but what it has become. Sometimes, silence is not the end of communication. Sometimes, it is how the universe answers back.